And there he is, Phil Kotler. What's up, dude?
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Good to see you.
Yeah,
Good to be
dude.
here. In my own home,
What's
but
it?
also sharing the space with you.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, I don't have a in-person studio, and this worked out so well during the pandemic.
Right.
To do these Zoom interviews. I'm just rolling it through not post-pandemic, but whatever we're in. I don't even know what stage. What the fuck stage are we actually in right now? It's so confusing.
It's very confusing, but it's also inching forward, or it's progressing, which God, that's all I'm grateful for. We could plan for the future a little bit.
Well, of course, because you've put on several live shows recently. Several for the folks at home. He is one of 5 members of Bleach Improv Group, right? Improv and sketch, or just Bleach Comedy Troupe? What do you guys? What are you do both? Right?
Yeah, we do it both. So yeah, we're Bleach Improv is our website and our social media handles.
That's your
but
official?
Yeah, we've been doing sketch since 2014. So yeah, we definitely do that as well. We incorporate more people in that part though.
Yeah. And you've put on since we've come back to normal, whatever the fuck this normal is. You've done 4 shows so far.
We've got a new.
And what's it? What?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you
so
go ahead.
We've got a new weekly show in the Downtown Arts District at the Vegas Theater Company, and we're doing a Thursday night 7:30 p.m. weekly improv show, and we invite some guests to come out. It's been a really good time. Yeah.
And you have when you invite guests, are they typically stand-up comedians, or who do you have?
So right now it has been stand-up comedians, and they've been performing like a 20-minute set, and these are touring really strong acts, and so that's kind of how we've been opening the show. And then Bleach does a 30-minute improvised play off an audience suggestion, and we have a full band accompaniment that kind of plays with that, and we can get musical if that's what it calls for as well.
Yeah. I gotta come to a show. I can't come next week because I'm gonna be out of time. But
it's weekly, dude. Whenever you can, just let me know.
Weekly.
Yeah.
I'll be there. Yeah, that's exciting, man. That's really exciting.
It's been really great.
And you guys, of course, did my show Rad Time, which is back in 2019. My little variety show of madness.
I loved it. That was such a fun, funky night. You hosted the shit out of it. Thanks for letting us be a part of that. It was really fun.
Oh my God, of course. That was so great. Yeah, we did a Halloween version of that, but I think we suffered from when movies do a sequel and they go too big, too fast. We added like double the acts. We built a haunted house. We had food trucks come in. It was a whole fucking crazy event, and but it was fun. It was a lot of great, a lot of good times.
Great.
But how has it been? How has it been since you've come back from this with the live shows? Like, how does that work from a logistical standpoint? Like, are people masked inside? Do you have to distance the chairs? Has that been thrown out since the new guidelines? Like, where are we at?
So a little bit of all of that. Yeah. So, God, we were doing weekly and monthly stuff up until March of 2020. And then, 13 months off. So coming back, we had to be 12 feet from the first row. Everybody had to be masked, temperature taken, and then stuff started to open up. They reduced the social distancing from 6 to 3. Our distance from the front row has gotten a little closer, and then they just recently, last Thursday, said that if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask. So we're trying to play it to where we want the audience to feel comfortable. So that's really what we're offering. So we've got some ushers, and our box office is really accommodating. And if you came with a group, you could sit with your group. We're still trying to keep people spaced, but dude, as of June 1st, shit's going to open back up 100%.
Back up. We are back.
Yeah. So it's going to be, it's interesting how incremental and slow this last fucking year's been. And then now it's full bore, open it instantly. Yeah, it's a shock.
They just rip the Band-Aid off. When I read those CDC new guidelines, I was like, what? No. Just here we go. Hey guys, it's done.
We're playing beer pong again, and we're not using water cups. Like, what the fuck?
It's crazy. It really is crazy. But I mean, I'm so excited that live shows are coming back. I mean, to me, it's so important. I just bought my first concert ticket. It's not till October, but it's down in San Diego. We're gonna go. My girlfriend and I are gonna go see with a group of friends the Dead and Company, which is the latest version of Grateful Dead. I think with John Mayer playing as the lead.
That's gonna be great. Okay.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Yeah. we tried to get Hollywood Bowl tickets for Halloween night, but we couldn't get that. But that's my first. I haven't been to a live show in a while, and I'm super cautious.
Same.
I've yet to be inside a restaurant, inside a
Okay.
bar. I haven't gone to an indoor live show yet. Yours will probably be the first one. When I get back into Vegas, yours will probably be the first one that I actually go see that's
That's
live.
incredible, and that's what I've been
I know I'll
hearing
be
a lot
nervous.
from is it is a lot of people's first show back to
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know I'll probably have those nerves about me, just like, yeah, because it's just broken my brain. The last year, as I'm sure it has done to a lot of people, it's broken my brain. I'm still like, when I'm out, I'm like, if I'm in a Target, I'm like, I got to wear the mask.
Yes.
I don't care if I see the individual or two that aren't, I'm just like, because then who's to say, it's so funny that they're using the honor system for vaccination.
I know.
When there's such a large percentage of people that aren't into it.
That's what kind of doesn't make sense. And also, it's always been self-policing for a big thing. Like, I think this
Yeah.
thing showed how connected we are as like a species or an organism or whatever,
Hmm.
I know I haven't been sick in 13, 14 months. So, like,
Knock on wood, I'm right
right.
there
So,
with you.
so it's like, okay, I'll still wear the fucking mask. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
vaccinated. My bubble or my group of friends are
Yeah.
vaccinated, but there's a lot
Same.
of people like my mom doesn't believe in it, and I have
She's not going to do it,
well,
huh?
unless she has to, right? And so, but there's
Hmm.
there's a whole group of people that have their hesitancy or their disbelief in government and
Yeah.
science and all that.
Hmm.
You know.
Does your mom live nearby? Do you visit her frequently,
No,
or how
she's
does that
she's
work?
not in Vegas, so I don't see her
Okay.
as frequently. Otherwise, yeah, my
Okay.
my immediate family here in town, like all my siblings, my
Hmm.
dad, my grandmother, all my friends,
They're all
everyone's
vaxxed.
vaxxed. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fine. If I'm next to a person that's vaxxed, I'm like, okay, yeah, we're cool. I can feel comfortable as I'm able to feel. I'm sure I'll be fine, a few months down the line. But
And you got to do it at your own
yeah,
comfort. Absolutely. You know what I mean?
you got to do it at your own
Totally. Yeah,
pace.
we all.
But I'm happy that
That's what I've noticed is like, yeah, the people closest to me, we all have different ways of kind of dealing with this and what's
hmm
comfortable. And I think just respecting each other's kind of individual
yeah,
choices, kind of what this whole
yeah,
thing's
and
about is just kind of, you know what I mean? Like not being a
that's
shit.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Stop being a shithead.
Yeah.
Stop hating and respect people's
Right.
individual choices. If people will just fucking keep to themselves a little bit more and just back off and let people make their own choices with their own lives, then everything would be copacetic. But
That's the
they can't.
fix.
Everyone wants to tell everyone what to do. It's crazy. But yeah, man. So, dude, for the folks at home, so you've been doing. You said Bleach Improv since 2014. You said, right?
Yeah. They were a group a little bit before I joined.
Oh,
But
okay.
I'd always admired them from afar, and then we started
Mm-hmm.
this monthly show at the Onyx Theater. And
Mm-hmm.
so
Where is
that
that?
was, it's no longer, but it used to be
Okay. Where was
Commercial
that?
Center, where the Green Door is off Sahara.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I've never been in the Green
Sure.
Door, but
Yeah.
I know. But I know the Green
Yeah.
Door. I know the Green Door is for those kids at home. The Green Door is a swingers club,
Yes.
a swingers club, or a sex club, not a swingers club, a sex club, swingers club,
Mix. I
same
think
thing. I
there's
don't
a
know.
couple different, there's the Green Door and maybe like three other spots that are similar, but the
Yeah,
Onyx was a very popular theater there. They used to do like Rocky Horror Picture Show. They did a lot of like the
I've been to that theater.
yeah,
I've been to
and
that
there was
theater. I know
a
exactly.
sex shop up front, so you had to go through this place
Hmm.
called the Rack, all these thongs and dildos and different things and
That's so
leather, and
fun.
then you get to the 80-person theater to see some improv.
There. Hey man, that's rock and roll punk right there.
It
I
had
love
that
it.
feel for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I like doing Ragtime at Oddfellows so much, because it had that like punk sort of feel to it, that CBGB sort of
Yeah.
vibe, and it was real small, real tight knit. The energy was just kind of electric. And then when I did the second show and I rent this gigantic warehouse and we had to like build these walls, it just wasn't the same because the noise dissipated, the energy dissipated, everything was just went
Right.
away,
No, venue's
and it wasn't
huge. Yeah, keeping
condensed.
it confined, keeping it, under the
Yeah.
same roof is important.
I would have chosen. I know you had. I think when we had spoken about it, I would have chosen Vegas Theater Hub where you guys do your performances. But because of the no alcohol thing,
Yes.
Rad time demands
Well,
drinking.
so
You have to
there's
drink
two. So
during
there's
my
the
show.
Vegas Theater Hub, which was an improv theater that was an old VFW, and so they actually got
Okay.
claimed by eminent domain through the pandemic, like in April or May. And then
Oh,
there's
okay. Is that not where
so
you're
we're
at?
at the Vegas Theater Company, which
Excuse
is
me.
the
Okay.
theater. It
Thanks for the
used to be
correction.
called Cockroach Theater, but having to
Yes.
explain that,
Okay.
like the layman didn't like cockroach as a name, so now it's the generic Vegas Theater Company, which kind of encompasses
Wow.
all of it. But that's downtown off
Okay.
Charleston, yeah.
But do they have a liquor license or no? You
So
just
as
drink.
a result of COVID, they've got their licensing fast track. They should have a bar in there. It'll be beer and wine, no liquor, but within the
That's
next
great
month
though.
or so. Yeah.
That's amazing. And if people want hard stuff, they can quickly go next
There's
door to the
so
to
many bars and
Artifice,
restaurants, not even Artifice. There's 18 Bin, there's the Berlin,
18 bin,
there's a lot of stuff
Berlin. Yep.
opening up.
There's a lot of stuff right there in that section. It's really building up
I think
nicely.
downtown advanced like 3, 4 years over the COVID shutdown. There's probably
Yeah.
like 10 breweries down there, a bunch of new restaurants.
Oh,
It's
all on Main
all in
Street, and
man.
Main Street
Yeah.
has a whole bunch of cool stuff here. No, it's really. Plus, they've got a new comedy club down there, Wise Guys Comedies.
Yeah.
That's gonna be
Wait,
opening up
a
soon.
standalone
That's a,
off-strip comedy club in Vegas. That is fucking huge.
that's
I,
huge, like a legit one.
legit.
That's
Yes.
crazy. Yeah,
Yes.
that's a game changer right there. That's really awesome. Now, do you have you ever done stand up? Have you ever played with stand up? And do
Yeah.
you because you're a big improv sketch guy, or do you still do stand up? Tell me about that.
So the last couple years, I've maybe done it like when I'm asked to do it. So maybe like five,
Yeah.
10 times a year. So not so much. But I started doing stand up. I actually took improv classes in '08, thinking it would make me better prepared to do stand up.
Hmm.
Which is so. But I hosted a couple stand up shows. We had a really popular weekly show called
Yeah.
Jokes with Friends. We hosted it at a
Okay.
Mexican restaurant called Nacho Daddy. We did that for like 3, 4 years.
Yeah, I know. Not,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course. Yeah.
I've gone on a couple tours. I enjoy it, but I've never fully immersed myself in stand up. I'm a lazy writer, and the bad sets fucking get to me. You know what I mean? Like it's kept me off stage for
Yeah.
a while. Whereas improv you do with a group of people, and so you fail together.
Yeah. I'm with you right there.
Yeah.
I've done stand up for a spell, but I've never fully immersed myself into it. And therefore I've never really gone to the level that one needs to get in order to compete. Cause I mean,
Yeah.
true stand up comedians are there every night, going up twice a night. They're really just, that's their
But
thing.
there's what's
And that's what you're
beautiful
competing
is
against.
Vegas is just starting to even coming back from everything shut down. You've got multiple opportunities a night to get up on stage out here and really
Yeah. Which is
perfect the
great.
craft. Yeah, so there's some really
Yeah.
strong stand-ups locally.
There's some really strong stand-ups. And that's what's so great when I moved out here, when I moved out to Vegas in 2013, one of the cool things that I saw was just the great comedian, the great stand-up community out here,
Yeah,
the great, film community out here. There's just a great arts community out here that's just untapped. Of course, it's smaller than, other
for
areas,
sure.
but it's great.
Yeah,
And it's talented.
yeah,
There's a
yeah.
lot of really great stuff out
I
here.
agree.
Um, are you from Las Vegas?
No, no, I moved out here in '98, which was eighth
Okay.
grade for me. So I was 13, and
Okay.
but
From
I've been
where?
here since. We were in Southern California. I was born in Simi. We lived in San Diego for a long time, Santa Monica, and then we were in the Antelope
Okay.
Valley for a couple years before we moved out here. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And do you love Vegas? Is Vegas your home for life? Are
Yeah,
you?
I don't know for life, but like it definitely works right now. It's I see a lot of opportunity. I've always
Hmm.
enjoyed the city. I've got a lot of friends here.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'm not called anywhere else at this time. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, do you act as well? Do you go out on? So is that your thing, or are you mostly just in the comedy? Some people are just like I'm an actor,
Right.
and I do comedy as well. But some people are just like, no, I just want comedy and blah blah blah. Like, do you do all of it, or do
So
you,
I
do
do
you
all of it,
pursue?
but to varying degrees of personal discipline
Hmm.
or keeping up with it. I've always had a day job, and then I've always
Hmm.
produced a bunch of comedy shows. I've always taught
Hmm.
improv.
Hmm.
So it's like I'm just kind of doing it all at one time. But I've acted in some stuff.
Yeah.
I've done some plays, done auditions for commercials. I've been in some bullshit, but Nothing
Yeah.
too.
Were you ever into yeah? Were you ever into who the guys? Just Serendipity, Brent McKay, and
So I've
those
worked with
cats?
those guys more through Comedy Sports because they started to participate with that franchise a couple
That's
years
right.
ago.
Okay.
But yeah, just Serendipity. I used to book those guys on some of my stand-up shows back in the day.
Hmm.
But yeah, I know Brent really well and Kopi and
Okay.
a lot of those guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Those guys are those and Spiro. He was
Spiro
part
is
of that,
wonderful, and he's become a
and
really
he's
fantastic stand-up. Yeah,
killing the stand up
yeah.
game. Oh my god, he tours, he does everything. He's so
Well,
funny.
he's putting in the work, right? Yeah, you see
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
shit pays
He's doing
off.
what you got to
Yeah,
do.
yeah, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. He's been on this podcast before. Yeah. He's a really funny guy.
Yeah.
So we've discussed improv versus stand up. That improv clearly is the medium that you prefer. Do you feel like that? You know, as an artist, as a comedian, do you ever feel like you ever have any blocks? Do you ever have any nights where you're just like, I'm not in it tonight? Or are you so passionate about it? Like you had a show this Thursday, when you go up, you're just like, hey, I'm in it. Or do you sometimes have to rev yourself up, or does it depend on where you are?
God, yeah. Yes to all of that. Yeah, no, it's controlling your perspective, right? Yeah, if you're
Hmm.
in a good mood and you're excited to present or be there, if you're present, that shit translates. If you're in your head, you're not really good to yourself or anybody else. So improv's got a
Mm.
really wonderful way of getting you out of your head. And so the group I work with, we have different ways of kind of warming up together and getting on the same page and becoming connected. Because if you're making up a 30-minute play where you don't know what
Mm.
anything is, you better be fucking present and in the moment,
Hmm.
because otherwise it just doesn't make sense and it's not as fun. Um,
Listening is the most important skill in that
Listening,
scenario.
yeah, and who's taught how to listen, really?
Right. Nobody.
It's
Everyone always waits for their chance to talk.
all the time. And so
Yeah.
yeah, so that's, I think, yeah, man, stand up I can get in my head, but it's like just being excited to fucking I get to do this, like having like a bit of
Yeah.
gratitude about it as opposed to
Mm.
like um, you know, resenting or resisting doing the thing you put yourself in the position to have to do. Like stage fright's
Yeah.
real, harness it, right? You know what I mean? Like but that comes with wisdom, and that's why reps are important and just doing it. Like
Hmm.
yeah, I don't nearly get the kind of stage fright I used to. Like I know I'm gonna still have my friends, I'm not gonna die. So that kind of frees me
Hmm.
up in a big way.
Yeah. Now, do you guys do rehearsals? Do you practice throughout the week? Do that a couple times before a show, or how important
Yeah,
is that process for
it's
improv?
very important. Could we be rehearsing more? Yes. Also, we spend a lot of time together, and I think that's
Hmm.
that's part of it. Like, yeah, we have a musical director, so he's part of the team as well. He's improvising by way of piano, and he brings in
Mm.
violin and cello and drums, and so
Oh,
it's
cool.
jazz, man. You know what I mean? Like they're making up stuff.
Yeah.
They're inspired by something we do on stage, and that influences their music, or their music has a certain sound, and that influences us as actors, or they lead us into a song because it feels like that's what's happening in the scene, and we either
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
that offering or steamroll over it, or vice versa. So
Mm.
but that shit's what's practiced, right? That's what
Yeah.
we want to get really good at listening. Did we miss something? Were you trying to cue me for something, like that kind of stuff?
Mm. Sounds like there's almost like a Zen quality to it, where you just have to be completely present on your game, listening and being right there. Because the moment you check out, you
You
might
miss
miss something
something.
that's going to be an integral part of creating the next moment, the next scene, the next joke. Who knows?
Well, I think like God, like how often do we feel present in our day to day? Like I know that's my biggest attraction to improvise. And, it's
Yeah.
like I get to play, I get to be like a kid,
Yeah.
and all the
That.
shit goes away.
Yeah, that's what I love about doing things like I snowboard. I love
Yeah,
snowboarding,
same.
and that's
Me
one of
too.
the things I love. So snowboarding, you better be present,
Yeah,
because one slip to the right, or one, you catch an edge, and you're going to eat shit very
right.
fast, and the mountain is unforgiving. So you better be present. It forces you because you're doing something that's somewhat high stakes.
But then you get
That's what I.
comfortable, and then you have to do something like get really high in the trees before you do it, because you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah,
but that's like doing anything at a certain level, right? It's like it's
yeah,
uncomfortable until it isn't, and then you're adding new stuff to constantly be forced into
Exactly.
being present. Otherwise, yeah, you can, like helicopter pilots, you know what I mean? Like at first that
Mm-hmm.
shit's hard, but then they're going over their bills and their daily stresses as they're doing tours and shit because it's
Yeah,
what they do.
texting.
But for you and
Yeah,
I to be in a
exactly.
helicopter, that'd be fucking, we'd be right there, you know?
I'd be right
Right.
there. I would be. Yeah. So do you? So you're. You said you're a lazy writer earlier. Do you? So do you write it all, or are you into?
Do it's
Would you?
just been very forced. But I
Mm-hmm.
think actually over COVID, I found like a big unlock for myself in writing, and so
Mm-hmm.
I started using speak to text, and because I'm like I am an
Okay.
orator, you know what I mean? Like I definitely
Mm-hmm.
talk a lot, and
Yeah.
so this was a way for me to generate pages and pages of content, and sometimes I write smarter, you know, than I really am, or I'm trying to sound smarter or whatever the fuck that
Mm.
is. And so I've noticed, yeah, speak to text, I can churn out a lot of content, and then I love going back and editing something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's provided me the opportunity to write, you know, I do that. I do about 2,000 words a day in terms of like a free write, journal, stream of
Mm-hmm.
consciousness. And that
That's
usually just
great.
frees me up for when I want to be creative. It's like I don't have all the shit
Mm-hmm.
there. But yeah, man, I've written
Yeah.
tons of sketches with anywhere from 2 to 12 characters. I think I can speak
Yeah.
as the characters when I'm orating as opposed to writing it. Huge unlock. If you have writer's block, try speak to text.
Hmm.
I really it feels like my unlock personally.
Interesting, because for me that's great. For me, I've like when if I have writer's block or if I'm just not motivated, which is pretty much 99% of the day, uh, I just force myself. I literally can, like right now I'm just writing fuck, fuck, fuck. I can literally just write that 30 times, but like, oh, I think I'm ready for a sentence now. And then I'll start
Right.
going, and I think it's important just to actually get stuff down. So that's another way to go about it, to speak to text. That's really
Yeah.
interesting. That's really cool. Um, are you with your guys' improv? Do you guys do a form of the Herald at all, or is it more character driven? It's long form, so is it heraldy at
So
all?
yeah, so with long, yeah, there's short form and long form improv. Short form's like whose line is it anyway, right? Yeah, I think all long
Yeah.
form is a version of the Herald, right? That's
Okay.
like what most schools of thought will teach, and it's just a classic kind of form. Once you learn it, then you could break it and do whatever version of it. But yeah, that's it's different scenes that ultimately become it's separate scenes that at the end all become connected and under one universe.
Okay.
So yes, we definitely do our version of a herald. Um,
Which is all from what, Del Close from Second City? That's where that's derived from, right?
yeah, well, Del Close is one of the biggest proponents in making long form improv its own art
Mm-hmm.
form because for a long
Right.
time it was theater games. It was acting warm
Mm-hmm.
ups and exercises.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't until Dell and the Chicago kind of group that really started making it performative and
Yeah.
something that you could see for 30 minutes or an hour.
Yeah. How did the shift gears for a moment? How did being in quarantine affect you in terms of not being able to be on stage, not hearing not feeling the electricity of the crowd, not being able to do your craft? Did that break you at all? Did that fuck with your head?
Yeah, man. Yeah, and I think I'm like just having it back now. I'm realizing
Mm-hmm.
how affecting that absence of something that was very much a part of my life. Like
Mm.
it was how I was socially. You know, I derived a lot of like my purpose and confidence out of teaching and performing and producing and doing all those things. So like to have all of that go away. Yeah, I think I kind of put myself on pause for a long time.
Yeah.
I think I was probably in
Yeah.
my head a lot more. I didn't have the thing that pulled me out of it, you know. I was
Mm.
fucking depressed,
Yeah.
man. This year sucked.
It was a
It
fucked
was a
year. It
fucked
was a
year.
fucked
But a
year.
lot of good shit
Yeah.
came out of it, you know what I mean? A lot of introspection. I think I've been doing things the same way for as
Yeah.
long as I could remember, like especially just as an adult. And so the opportunity to slow down and kind of recalibrate
and become introspective and really think
fuck,
about
man,
things where you're
that's
at. Yeah.
priceless. And so, you
Oh,
know what I mean? Like,
agree.
yeah, that's been a great takeaway, and it sucked.
Where do you guys with where we are right now with one of my questions is I just laughed at my own question that I wrote, which is, do you need to be somewhat broken to be a comedian? I think I wrote that for myself.
Right.
Actually, we'll get to that in a moment, because I want to stick with the live shows in a second. I'm just sorry, I'm laughing at my own not stupidity, but it's also just like, oh god,
It doesn't hurt.
Do I need to?
It doesn't hurt.
Yeah. Actually, we'll stick with that. We'll stick with that quick before we move into. Do you think you need? I mean, it doesn't hurt. I mean, a lot of comedians clearly come from some level of dysfunction,
Right.
But do you think you need that? You know, you're a group of, not to call out your other cast members, you're a group of 5 people. I mean, you're all pretty level headed, or do you think you're all come up with, everyone's got their own baggage within your group? You think that aids you guys?
We're all human beings, right? Like literally everybody's got fucking trauma, right? Like everybody's got some,
without giving details,
right? So to be broken as a comedian, I literally think everybody's got shit they're dealing with. I think like performing and comedy especially is very vulnerable, and it's something that I don't know, like gets you more kind of in touch with humanity, empathy with other people. Like theater and performance and movies, like these things allow you to try on a different perspective, to live a day or a life even in somebody else's shoes.
When you're on stage, are you more do you more play versions of yourself, or do you do more character stuff when you're on stage? How much do you step into other people's shoes?
Yeah, God, my default is straight man for sure, which is a variation of myself, right? So
you are. If I were to cast you, I'd be like, he's a leading man. Am I correct in that? Leading man, straight man kind of guy?
And I play really well to where like I feed everybody else's funny or big characters and do that. And but I do love playing big characters and stuff outside of myself. And that's something like with improv, you get to try that on. Like today, I'm gonna deform my body or do something or speak in a voice and see what the fuck that leads me
and see what happens.
Yeah. And next thing you know, you're like an evil old grandma in the woods or something, right? And it's always more fun to be a gremlin troll guy versus a version of me, right? And so I definitely I intentionally choose the character route, but like I said, my default is straight man. But I play with such a strong kind of like versatile group where we pick up what's missing, right? So if I am a big character, I've got a group of 4 other people that are gonna
someone else would be the straight man. Yeah, got that.
Well, there's so many different ways to use humor, and there's the absurdist route. There's clowns, right? There's but then there's stuff that like right now I'd say it's there's like a social consciousness to a lot of humor, right? And so it's like there's messages in it, and so it's like all of it's layered. It all has a place. I love being very fucking silly and slapstick, and then I also like having a little bit of depth to it and having I think and I enjoy all those different types of comedy, but it's an escape ultimately. Like the reality is, there's a lot of bad shit on the planet, and it's probably never going to go away or change. So it's like we're only as good as our distraction, and so like let's be intentional about it, and again, let's just have a good fucking time.
Yeah, for me, it's an escapism. I'm definitely addicted myself to escapism, but I want that to be part of what I do. Because people just listen and it's like, oh, okay. Obviously maybe with this pod, I want to talk about something real, but that's what this is. I don't even think of this, podcast as comedic at all. To me, it's just, I happen to speak.
It's a conversation.
Yeah. I care more about, when I started this, I was like, oh, do I have to be funny? Should I try and do, should I do my characters, my rad time stuff? Like, what about, you know what I mean? I was like, no, I think, and I started off as doing a debate show where we debated, where I hosted a debate
Yeah.
and people, this guy's Kimberly came on.
She
debated,
did the
I think,
Christmas and Halloween. Yeah.
versus Hall. Yeah, she's so fucking amazing. She's so funny. With my good friend Jamie. And I love that format, but it just wasn't like for me. I was like, I don't know what I'm really doing with this, and I kind of just want to talk about topics, and just have a discussion. I was like, oh, okay, this is my outlet where I can just not have to worry about being funny, not have to worry about being a character, not have to worry about anything like that. I can just have real conversations with people and see if we can discover something. Maybe we learn something, maybe we don't. Maybe the audience learns something, maybe they don't. But it's something to try and figure out.
Well, not putting like a
kind of
pressure or an expectation on it, right? Letting it kind of be what it is. And those are some of my favorite interviews or conversations. It's just, two people talking.
Because when I perform, I better fucking be funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when I perform,
That's the expectation.
Yeah. You know what I mean? If I'm on stage, I know I better be funny.
I bought a ticket.
You know what I mean?
I'm here for that.
Yeah. But here, it's like, well, people don't like, go listen to something else. Go listen to, whatever other how many podcasts come out a day? Like 1 million podcasts a day come out.
It's a market.
So do you have any? Do you have any favorite podcasts that you listen to? Or are you a podcast guy?
Yeah. I love Chris Gethard's Beautiful Anonymous. I like Stephen West Philosophize This, which is a fun, bite-sized kind of philosophy podcast.
Yeah.
He's just like a dorky teacher. I like Conan Needs a Friend. I listen to Marin. The Dollop.
Listen Bill Burr at all?
I like Bill Burr. Yeah. His Monday morning podcast, just ranting for an hour. I feel like if I did a podcast, that would be my shit. Just like fucking stream of consciousness for an hour. Like, what the fuck was that about? I just feel like that'd be
it's so refreshing.
Yeah.
I love popping that into my car when I'm driving to work. I'm like, oh, this is the way to go. Because he's like, Monday morning podcast. He's like, the fucking Bruins last night.
Yeah.
He's just laying into
whatever
things.
Was there.
Like,
no expectation. Just, this is what the
I don't think he's got notes. I don't think he does. I think he just goes. I think he turns the mic on. It just goes. That to me is such a special skill.
Yeah.
I don't have that. I don't think I could do the solo podcast. I've experimented with it. I haven't released a lot of it, but I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if any of this is interesting or what it is.
I think it's just the letting go of it having to be any of that, right? Just kind of, letting it. And there's a high probability for some really shitty content and some dull shit happening. That's just kind of what it is.
Yeah.
But then you get magic. You get nuggets of like some of the most incredible things as a result.
You sure do. And I think that's what's probably so great about improv is there's no time for judgment. You just go, and then you're on to the next thing.
If you're judging yourself or your partner or the audience or whatever, you're in your head, you're not present, you're missing shit.
And you're done. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's so great about improv. Actually, what's so great about being on stage, I mean, ideally, even as a stand-up comedian, I've done that, I've done sketch, I've done it all. But ideally is that you're not in your head at all. You're just going. Because once you're on stage, you just want to go. You just want to go and be present in the moment. Because if you're not going to be right there. You're probably going to miss your own timing.
It's death. Yeah, like the whole God. If we could be present for the most of our lives, like when you look around, like shit's not too bad. But when you're in here, you're taking on everything. And so, the more things in life that have us be in our body and in the moment, the better. That's kind of what I'm getting to now. Is just like slowing shit down a little bit, or at least taking a couple minutes each day to kind of just like check in, like what's going on. Cause like this last year, I think a lot of people experienced like depression in a way they would have never even said I was a depressed person, but like what I felt akin to what depression would be, anxiety, like I've never really experienced high anxiety, or if I have, I was also so busy and just like in the throes of doing shit that like I didn't have time to even consider it. I smoked cigarettes probably as a result of it, you do different things to cope. And it's really interesting when you have time to kind of check it out. Like it doesn't have to be as hard.
Yeah. I mean, being present in daily life is so important. Being present in comedy is essential. in order to succeed and be funny. In my opinion, you have to be.
Otherwise,
present.
you're
You have
just
to
doing
be.
some memorized shit. You're not really connecting with the people that are there to see you,
Yeah.
and it might not be bad, but it can't be as good as it could be. You know?
No. You have. Yeah. You have to stop. You have to feel the room. You have to read the room. You have to feel the energy of the room, and you just have to do your thing.
Yeah.
And just throw those noodles against the wall and see what sticks, and go out there and just hit it.
That's the most
You know.
fun is just taking a big swing and sometimes
Yeah.
missing, and
I'll tell you what. I'm okay with bombing.
you have
When
to
I do
be.
stand up, I'm okay with bombing. I think it's hilarious. I kind of, to a fault, will sort of be like, if I bomb, I'll sort of lean into that too much, which is
Well, that's kind of
not
like
great,
that's
but
like clowning around. That's what a clown would do. You know what I mean? And that is
yeah,
part of your absurdist inclination of you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, yeah, that's Kaufman, right? That's like kind of like
yeah,
really leaning into something that shouldn't be funny, and your commitment to it is what really pays off at the end. It's like
yeah.
I was almost annoyed midway through, and then it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. Yeah,
Exactly.
I
Yeah,
love that.
exactly. So, yeah, that's amazing. That's a skill even right
That's
there, and that's
power.
like
Yeah,
really, really true.
you're evoking
Yeah,
emotion from people.
yeah. That's yeah, man. Being present is just it's everything. You know, I took this acting class the other day, and he called it the 10-second hack to when you're in an audition room, or even if you're doing a self tape. And part of it was just standing there. And it actually goes back to what you just said, which is just standing there and observing. It's like, look at the corner of the room. It's like, look over there. Really look. Really take in the energy of the room. Whether you're by yourself, you know, if you're in your own bedroom, look at your bed, look
Right.
at the floor. And he's like, and get out, just don't even think of yourself. Don't even think of what you're about to act and what you're about to do. And he's like, because right now, you know, they don't want to see you out there performing. They want to see you out there being present and being truthful in the moment. And that is everything. But that's so easier said than done.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's practice. It's
Hmm.
doing like just God, I never realized how much like breathing or like breath work. Like you hear it with yoga and stuff, but like you can really
It's
control your
key.
breath. Oh my God, that's access to like being calm when you choose.
Yep.
Yeah, really great.
Yeah. Oh, it's key. Breathing is the most important part. It really is.
Yeah.
The thing that we just take for granted. Nobody ever thinks about breathing, but it's so important. Just breathe. Just let it go. Yeah. We also talked about not trying to, like if you're feeling like high energy, high nerves, owning that and accepting that and being present with it rather than trying to suppress it.
Well, God,
And that's
we're
another.
so conditioned to suppress.
Hmm.
Like I realize like how much I was capable of like withholding. I'm a people pleaser as a result
Yeah.
of my upbringing. But I'm aware of it.
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
killing that portion of me. But the
Yeah.
reality is it's there. But like I've recently like I've done therapy for the first time over this last year. I'm about a year
Hmm.
in.
That's great.
It has been great, and there's a stigma
That's great.
around that, but
Which is unfortunate
it
and pisses me off,
is.
but
It is. And
don't
I
get,
get people have bad
yeah.
experiences and whatnot, but like how could talking
Fucking
about your
judgment.
life and
Mm.
yourself and trying to make it better be a negative thing, right?
How could that be a bad thing?
There's no way that it
How,
can. And you might not
I
like what
hate
you
people judge you for
see,
that.
but the
Yeah.
reality is it's a great practice. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I've been crying a lot more. It's crazy. I
Yeah.
don't think I
That's
ever I
great
was
though.
in
It's a great
I
release.
I have these roto ice, like these nuclear eye drops, like
What is it? That sounds like you're pouring acid into your
it's
eyeballs.
pretty
What the
much that.
fuck
It's
is
like
that?
a minty eye drop. Like it fucks you up.
What?
Yes.
That sounds awful.
Well,
What is that
well,
for? What is that for? Explain
it's
yourself.
refreshing and it gets rid of redness, right? And so I
Okay.
never liked these things. And there's like a winter green and whatever. Like they hurt.
Wait, why does it have to be mint?
I
Why does the
because
mint have to go into your fucking
because
eyes?
you know what I mean. Like people are fucking psychotic, right? So I know a lot of stoners that use these. I've tried them; they hurt. But I've been fucking crying so much, and I can't help it. And it's not a bad thing. It's like at nice things. It's a good thing, and it's like for 2 minutes, and then it goes away. But I'm left with these
Yeah.
fucking like stoner red eyes. So I've been
Yeah.
blaming it on using these things just so I could still be this fucking like whatever raw nerve thing's happening with me right now. Like
Yeah.
it's been really great. It's also been really weird. But like,
Yeah.
God, man, I feel more present and more connected.
Hmm.
as opposed to just trying to like suppress that kind of shit. And
Well, you're releasing because men are trained to hold that shit in and be a man. God damn it, boy!
I hesitated
be a
even
goddamn
wanting to
man.
share that. I'm like,
Yeah.
Roberta's gonna be like pussy, but I'm
No,
not really.
trust me.
I know you're
if
not.
you knew me, I would be the last person to call you pussy for crying too much.
Even saying pussy is like such like a '90s kid bullying tactic. You know what I mean? Like it's like that's
Fucking
old school
pussy.
condition. I would never call anybody a pussy. But it's like, but we were when we were younger, and whatever internal dialogue is still there.
Yeah. I don't give a fuck what people call me. You can call me whatever the fuck you want.
Totally.
You know what I mean? It doesn't mean shit to me.
There's power in
that's
that.
great though. That's a great. To be honest, that's a great release, and it sounds like you're getting out of your own way, and you're not letting things hold you and constrain you, and it's just release. It's just letting yourself out.
Just breaking patterns. Just kind of like acknowledging like why you do things. But just I'm done withholding. Like I want to share what I think, what I'm up to. You know what I mean? I want to connect with people legitimately. Like I don't want to be thinking and in my head and judging
and all these things are only going to help you not only in your daily life, but they're going to help you on stage
everywhere.
Performance. Guaranteed.
Yes.
Especially in fucking improv.
Yeah, well, God, the amount that's opened up, just being open to it. Like, if you don't share what's going on, how is shit even supposed to happen for you? But the more I talk about what I'm doing and what I'm up to, like, the more shit starts to go the way that I want it to go. And I've kind of always known that, but to be intentional,
If anything, and this isn't going to be popular, but if anything, it's brave. It's brave to cry. If anything, it's brave to really be in touch with your emotions, no matter what they are, no matter what you're feeling. If anything, it's once again, as long as you're not harming someone else. If your emotion is rage and you're fucking
right,
go, beat the fuck out of someone. Okay, pull it back a second. I want to make sure people understand me correctly. But it's brave to be in check with your emotions to a level that you're really feeling what you're feeling and being present with what you're feeling.
So yes. And I would also argue that it's braver to talk about it, right? You know what I mean? Like there's all these things that you're not allowed to talk about. So like I could be crying on my own and that would be pretty brave. But like being able to share that I've been crying a lot and it doesn't feel like it's the wrong thing, or I don't feel like I'm broken or in need of help. Like it actually feels like a release. Like freeing, just having like destigmatizing the ability to talk about things. I think that's what's really brave. And so many of us self-censor or act like it's not important or our perspective's not important.
Do you feel that's more indicative of being a male, that we feel that way? Or do you think that's everyone or anyone or?
In terms of censoring or not sharing?
In terms of censoring your feelings and not sharing your feelings and be like, hey, I'm not feeling great right now. I'm not feeling well right now. I'm really upset. I'm really depressed.
Yeah.
I think that's more. I think there's a higher expectation for men to be like, no, tough it out. Or do you think that's sort of dissipating? I hope that's dissipating.
I think it's dissipating for sure. And I think there's still that. But then I also think like from a female's perspective, being able to talk about like having a kid, or like women don't even feel comfortable sharing that they're pregnant at a certain point because it's not cool to talk about. Maybe you have a miscarriage or so, you know what I mean? Like all that shit is really privatized and kept in and to whatever your comfort is. Like you don't have to do any of it, but just to have this experience where you can't share that, I think so. I think it's universal, right? I as a white man in today's climate, I don't know, like I read history books, like I get it, and so it's like I'm just trying to do what I can do from where I'm sitting, and it's probably still not enough.
Yeah. Well, man, this has been so great. I told you when I sent the email, we're going to have sort of a quasi therapy session because I'm still figuring out the voice of the show. I know I want it to be part mental health, part figuring out like what's going on with people's lives. I want it to be about artists and comedians, but I'm still kind of figuring out the voice. And I just want to be able to have like real conversations with people just like this. I feel like this has been great.
Me too. I I like the space you created, and I like the conversation we were able to have, and
Yeah.
it could have gone anyway. And
Yeah, of
you
course.
know, I know that I feel good, and that it was fun
Yeah.
for me to be able to share with you, who like we know each other, but you know what I mean. Like this
Yeah,
is
but we
shit
don't
you
really
wouldn't
know each
normally. Yeah,
other.
we don't. Yeah, not in that way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
cool. If this yeah lands for anybody, then it was worth doing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, one of the big takeaways is being present in the moment, being present in comedy. I might even title
Okay.
the being present, just because I think that's the overall thing, just being present with yourself and being okay to feel that
Yeah.
and being okay, right? And being okay
Yeah, because
with
like,
where you are.
yeah, God, I'm just like I've got this fear like that I was going to continue, and I was going to like look in the mirror and be 50, 60, and you're like, do you
Hmm.
want to start now? You know, like it's like,
Yeah.
you know, like I don't know, like I'm 36 now, and there's so many
Hmm.
things that I've allowed to be on the back burner or that I haven't
Hmm.
fully embraced as a
Hmm.
result of thinking there's going to be more time, or that I need to be more
I
prepared, or that, you know what I mean, like whatever the
Yeah.
fuck that is.
Yeah, there's this guy Gary V, who actually I kind of do this character sort of based off him, but I also listen to a lot of his stuff. Not all, I take everything with a grain of salt, but he has this great quote which I do believe in. And he goes, "The problem is that you think you have time,
Yeah.
and you don't. You don't, because eventually it will be. Eventually it will be too late.
Yes. Yes.
Eventually you'll be dead.
Yes.
We're all gonna die.
Guaranteed.
So
Yep.
yeah, it's coming.
Yeah.
So eventually it will be too late. So embrace all these things now,
And it's
and just
later
do
than
it.
you think, and it's also never too late. You know what I mean? Like
It's definitely never too late.
I remember being 13 going, I've got friends that have been playing guitar for 6 years. I've missed the boat, right? You know?
Oh, that's so crazy.
What kind of thought is
That's
that?
so funny to
You
me.
know, but it's funny.
That's so crazy. Yeah. If you don't do it now, then in a year from now, you'll still have not done it.
And it's all incremental shit, right? Doing a little bit each
Of
day,
course.
that stuff adds up over
Hmm.
time. But, yeah, God, it's taking care of yourself. Nobody's going to take care of you.
Hmm.
So, you know what I mean? You can't
Yeah.
pour from an empty cup. Like, that's never rang more
Yeah.
true to me. And I've
Hmm.
always tried to do stuff for other people. But, you know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
if you're not taking care of you, you're not your best self for anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to take care of yourself first before you can take care of others.
Right.
No question about that. Any closing remarks, young man, that you would like to make? I'm putting so much on my guest today.
No, that's great.
Usually
I do have some things. No, so yeah, I'm just really excited to be getting back to some kind of version of normalcy. I'm very excited to be able to produce and perform a weekly show with a group of people who
Hmm.
I adore and think are super talented. And
Hmm.
as a result, we are coming out with a full improv curriculum. We have
Awesome.
workshops coming out in a couple weeks on Saturdays at the theater. We've helped partner with Comedy Sports. So Bleach is going to be
Hmm.
working in tandem with Comedy Sports Las Vegas. And so they're also going to be having a show at the theater. And then, yeah, it just feels really great to be in action with all that stuff. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
You're
excited.
creating and doing your thing.
Absolutely. And so that feels really good. And that's what's been absent for a while. And so, yeah, I think the difference is just like be really present. Let's do it at a level I've never done it before,
Hmm.
and have some fucking fun, you know?
Yeah. I love it. Well, dude, thank you so much for doing the pod. I hope you'll be a guest again.
Yeah,
It was
anytime, man.
absolutely
This is
fantastic.
great.
And I feel like I know you a little bit better than I did. Like I said, we haven't really hung out on the reg, and I feel like I know you a little bit better
Same.
now, man. And hopefully the audience does too. And hopefully for those at home, you took away something, and
Right.
be present, and take care of yourself. And this has been great, man. We're gonna do what I always do. We do a little virtual
Oh,
hug. So we're
let's
just
do
gonna
it.
come in.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
we do
right.
the virtual. There
Oh,
we
yeah,
go.
that felt
There we
good.
go.
That's nice.
There we are. Now that we're both vaxxed, when I see you,
Right, we can do
we'll
that
give a
for
real
real.
hug.
Yeah, yeah.
We do
Keep
a
your
real hug when
mask
we
on,
actually.
though.
Yeah, keep my mask on. That's going to start on the maskers, the anti-maskers, the anti-vaxxers, whatever, man. To each their own.
Right.
To each their fucking own.
Right.
It's fine. It's going to be fine. All right, man. Dude, thanks so much. Real quick, shout out where people can see you one last time.
So check us out at Bleach Improv on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, bleachimprov.com. And then check it out. You'll find out our show. It's called Bleach Presents Your Show, completely improvised, every Thursday at the Vegas Theater Company at 7:30 p.m.
I can tell you from experience, these guys are absolute fire. They're fucking hilarious. They're going to make you laugh. They're going to make you think. They're all fucking genius. They always have an amazing stand-up comedian. You had Jocelyn Sharp on there a couple of weeks ago. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Who'd you have last Thursday?
Eric Lewin, who's been I hadn't worked with him prior, but we saw a bunch of his stuff, and he was fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. They've got amazing stand-up comedians. They've got clearly an amazing musician, producer. I'm really intelligent. A musician, producer guy.
He's our musical director. Yeah.
A musical director. Oh, there we go.
Dude, we've been dicking around with the new form where we have a guest monologist, and it's not new. It's just something we're doing that's new.
Yeah.
But we'd love to have you on. You get to get inspired in the moment to share a story, and then our whole set's based on that.
I would be honored to do that. Now, is that something where the crowd gives me an idea or a word or a suggestion,
and then you're like, that makes me think of this,
that?
And then you tell a real story for about 2, 3, 4 minutes, and then we'll improvise the whole set off that. Yeah,
I'm 1,000% down.
Okay,
I'd be honored to do that. And you know why I'd be honored? Because it scares the hell out of me.
Oh, wonderful, good.
And therefore, I would do it. Yeah, cool. Yeah. It sounds like improvised stand up to me. Okay, I'm in. When I get back to when I come to Vegas again, I'll tell you, and we'll set it up.
That'll be fantastic.
Awesome, dude. Hey, thanks. It looks like I'm walking away the big one. Thank you so much. All right, dude. Phil Kotler, everyone. Check him out at Bleach Improv, and thank you for watching. Let's hug it out.
Later. Thank you.
Bye. Later, brother. Thanks for watching Let's Hug It Out podcast with Roberto Rad. Follow us on IG at Let's Hug It Out podcast, and find us on Apple, Spotify, and all podcast platforms everywhere. See you next time. Bye.